Today we're going to make baked potato soup. The ingredients that you will need are some chicken stock. Now, I've got 1.5 litres here of homemade chicken stock, but you can use store-bought chicken stock, just whatever one that you like. I've got some potato, an onion, bacon, some spring onions, some sour cream, salt and pepper, some crushed garlic. I've just got the pre-jarred minced garlic because I didn't have any garlic cloves with me. Some grated cheese, some buttermilk, and some cheddar cream cheese. So cheddar flavoured cream cheese spread that you would, make with sandwiches. First thing I'm going to do is finely dice up the bacon, and then I'll get back to you. I've diced up my bacon, and now I'm going to gently cook it in a pot. So I'm going to cook it in this pot. I might add a little bit of oil down the bottom if there's not enough fat coming out of the bacon until it's nice and crispy. Then I'll drain it out and put it aside because we're going to use this as a topping. But cooking the bacon in the pot that we're going to make the soup in means that all the bacon fat will be flavouring the soup as well. I've cooked my bacon and I've drained it out of the pot, and I'll put it to one side. And I finely diced my onion. So now I'm going to gently cook my onion and my garlic, and that's a lot of garlic, but I love garlic, until it's nice and translucent. While that's happening, instead of wasting time, you could probably peel and finely dice your potato as well. So I'm going to get that done, and we'll get back to you soon. So I've gently fried off my onions and my garlic. And these little brown bits down the bottom, they just create extra flavour, and you can see a few pieces of tiny bits of bacon that I couldn't be bothered pulling out, and I'll just add a little bit extra flavour. So now I'm going to add in my chicken stock, and it's a little bit lumpy because it's cold. That's okay. My chicken stock is not how you make a proper chicken stock, how a chef would make a proper chicken stock. It's just the way I make it. So I'll just mix that through. And then I'm going to add in my just roughly chopped peeled potato. And then I'm going to bring this back to the boil and simmer it for a short while until the potato is tender. And then I'll show you the next step. I finally diced up my spring onions, which are going to be the topping for the soup. So I'll just put that to one side. And here is the soup so far. You can see that everything's quite well blended together, and these are my little pieces of potato, which are now actually very soft. See, I'll just break that with my nail. So you've got a few options here. You can leave it chunky if you like. You could mash it up with a potato masher, so it's still quite chunky, but the potatoes blended in through a bit better. Or you could use an actual blender or food processor to make it more smoother. So I'm going to go get my stick blender, and I'm going to blend it just for a few minutes just to make it a little bit more smoother than this chunky potato, and we'll be back soon. At this point you could also taste it to see if it needed any salt or pepper. I tasted mine and it definitely did not need salt. My stock had enough salt in it, but it did need a bit of pepper, so I added in a little bit of pepper. So I'll be back shortly. Okay, I've blended up my soup, and that's why you can see a little bit of the froth and bubbles at the top. It's much thicker now, but there is still a few chunks of potato, which I don't mind leaving in. Now you'll also notice with the colour that it is nowhere near white like a potato soup, and that's because my chicken stock had a lot of seasonings and little bits of chicken and things floating in it. If you didn't use stock or used more clear stock, then the soup would be much whiter, particularly if you obviously had more potato. So to this I'm going to add in my cheddar cream cheese. I've actually just popped it in the microwave just for 30 seconds, just so it's a bit more melted for when I mix it in. So I'll just pop that in. It's very hot as well. This little ramekin is very hot to hold. And I'm also going to add in my buttermilk. So this will obviously make it creamier and whiter. I'll leave that later. So now I'm just going to bring it back to the stove to heat it up. I'm going to use my little hand mixer again to blend the cheese in thoroughly because it's kind of floating a little bit, and then we'll serve this up. And here is our finished soup. It's much creamier. You can see little bits of onion and potato floating, but that's okay. So I've just put some in a nice soup bowl And to finish it off, I'm just going to add some of our cheese. Some bacon bits. And there's nothing wrong with using your fingers as far as I'm concerned. It's my bowl. Some sour cream. And some spring onions. And you know what? A little bit of fresh pepper would be really nice. Enjoy!